What I had before was I wheezed a lot when I talk. I had hay fever very, very bad in the spring. I couldn't breathe. My nose was chronically stuffed up. Like, I've always been an early riser, but I was very stiff when I got up in first thing in the morning, and that's gone away. I had chest pains. I was probably heading for a heart attack, but I wasn't diagnosed as that. I was diagnosed with allergies, and I had terrible ringing in my ears all the time. My control pause was 12 to 15 seconds. My doctor wanted to put me on medications, and that was what started me looking. I've never been a big believer in medicating issues. And so to me, when he wanted to put me on medications for my breathing and stuff, that was when I started looking. That was how I happened to come across your video and Buteyko. I no longer am constipated ever. Basically speaking, the varicose veins in my legs are all but gone. There's just very, very minor ones now. I feel good all the time. I don't wheeze when I'm breathing. I have little to no chest pain. If I have ringing in my ears, it seems to be much more connected to what I eat than the way it used to be, where it just kind of rang all the time. I was actually looking for something for breathing. And I went on, and I happened to hit on a video of you talking, and you were saying that you could barely get up in the morning. And I thought, oh, stop here. So I watched the entire video, and I thought, I need this. So I followed the link back to Buteyko. And it did take me a while. I wasn't all that enamored with you when I first saw it. I went on and I saw Christopher talking, and he made me hold my nose. And of course I could only do it for like 15 seconds or something. And I thought, this probably isn't for me. I won't be able to do it. But I kept coming back to it. And I kept watching it. And finally I did the free session. And then I took the first class, and then I continued to the second class. When I first logged in, the very first class I took, it was very simple to log in, and you sent the links to me. The time difference was the hardest thing for me to figure out, but the actual logging in was perfect. It went very smoothly. I fought it every step of the way. The whole holding your nose and trying to make it longer, and the first thing that happened to me is I got diarrhea, so I thought you were all crazy. I did log in the next night, and I did go through the class, but I did mention that, you know, I was having a few problems, and they told me that was okay. That was just part of the cleansing process. But I really did fight mentally. Like, I thought every time I did the exercises, every time I did the breathing and the control pause and the maximum pauses, my brain said, no, you don't want to do this. You want to go lie down, go have something to eat, have a cup of tea, like that. So, but I persevered. I stayed with it. I immediately felt better, even with the diarrhea, even with all the cleansing processes, even my breathing started getting better almost immediately. The very beginner's workshop, upon completion of that, my breathing was so much better. I didn't have headaches, and the ringing in my ears subsided quite a bit. And so the benefits were outweighing me fighting it, and they were outweighing me. Like, I was starting to feel better. And at one point, about 6 months into the whole thing, my worst day was better than my best day before I started. And that's what keeps me going, and that's what keeps me doing it still, and that's why I keep at it. There was a few things I was having problems with, and the support I received was excellent. When I went to the intermediate course and learning the exercise, it pushed my control pause from like in the low 20s or up over 30 to 35. And now my control pauses are sitting at about 40 on average. It's very rare I'm below 30 ever. The exercises I really like doing, I've actually got an exercise program I'm doing too. I do stretching exercises, and I use all the breathing techniques from the intermediate class, and I breathe through a lot of them, and I'm not tired at the end. In fact, I'm energized more at the end than I was. I walk every day. I try to incorporate the teachings all through the day, like going upstairs sometimes. If I feel like I haven't really done any practicing during the day, I'll just practice going up and downstairs and doing like a breath hold or a maximum pause and just see how well I do. It was probably about 4 months, and I just kind of hit a plateau, and I wasn't really getting better, and I just didn't feel well, and I kept crying and bursting into tears for no reason, and I thought this just isn't working, and I was right to not want to do this, but for some reason I kept doing it. I kept going, no matter, even though I didn't want to. Something somewhere in the back of my mind said, "This is good. You're okay." And that was where I was plateauing at about my maximum pause was like 20 to 25, and I couldn't get past it, and it wouldn't move up. And I actually think we had a session where I actually met with Martha, and I talked it through, and she actually walked me through it and said, no, that's okay. You don't have to, panic. You don't have to rush. It'll all come into place. So I moved, and so I kept going. It's actually quite surprising, because I can be very, very upset about something that's happening at work or something that's out there. And then all of a sudden, if I just come back and watch my breathing and start breathing the way I was taught in the intermediate, where you go nose, balloon, and stomach, and back up, and it's almost immediate where it corrects it. And my thinking is much more positive. If I were going to tell anybody anything, it would be to very carefully to make sure that you go to the Learn Buteyko website, because there's a lot of people on the internet presenting themselves as Buteyko teachers, and they're not. And their teaching methodology is not correct. And it may help you a little bit, but they don't have the support. There's not a support like there is at Learn Buteyko. Basically, I would tell them to be prepared to work hard. It's not an easy, for me, I was fighting myself, but it's not a fix all. The only thing that'll fix it is if you keep practicing at it. And the more you practice, the better you'll do.